What is going on? Welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to talk to you about Hologram. I want to do my weekly update on what influenced the stock price, what shorts did, and everything else you need to know. But first, make sure you guys hit that thumbs up. And with that, let's get right to it. So on Friday, it went up 9.1%. In fact, over the last 5 days, it went up 13.64%. Very abnormal stuff. And for those of you that kind of follow my Hologram videos, you know that there's a couple key things to watch for, and that's just abnormal volume. So looking back, what I mean by that is, for instance, May the 27th and May the 28th. Normally, it was about 1.5 to 3 million, and then it just jumps to 16.9 and then 54.4. During that time frame, no news, no macro things coming from China or anything like that. So that was, in my opinion, just excessive dilution. But this past week was very abnormal. So for instance, even on June the 18th, it went up 2.09% with just 713,000 shares. And then of course, on the Friday, you did have 4.2 million, which caused it to go up 9.1%. But I actually don't think that was dilution. The broader market, a lot of speculative stocks were starting to really move higher. So in my opinion, for the first time in a very, very long time, Hologram was participating in that upward speculative momentum, which is kind of a good thing. Let me know your general thoughts on that. But this past week definitely kind of has me shocked a little bit. Doesn't mean you need to FOMO into Hologram, definitely, because I feel like a lot of those convertible debt products, which a lot of people still do not understand or comprehend, but that is going to be extremely damaging down the line, because they most likely in the next little bit, they will be needing to do another prospectus. So they're going to be really ramping that up over the next quarter. So you're probably going to see most likely 3 new prospectuses in the next quarter. But nonetheless, though, this past week definitely is a indication that maybe it might be ready to move higher finally. So let me know your thoughts on that in the comments below regarding if this was institutions buying or retail. Looking at both the secondary market and the dark pool, you did see, for instance, on Friday, one transaction on the secondary market for 157,000. Dark pool, you saw one for 100,000 even. So essentially, big money is starting to pay attention to Hologram a little bit more. But as I've kind of shown you in the past, you do have retail, based on the last 13 Fs, owning the majority of the float. So institutions currently hold 56,000 shares, strategic entities 207. And on a side note, that strategic entities, these entities right here, they are the ones that hold the notes. They are the investors that Hologram typically refers to them as. And one thing to be aware of is the max that they can hold at any one time is 9.9%. So they obviously have a lot of room that they can buy up, or I guess convert, because the interest payments from the notes, that's how they get their shares. But other, aka retail, 4.46 million. So retail does pretty much own Hologram, and this is why you see just it happen how it is and why it went down as much as it did, because retail stopped for a brief period buying. But this last week, I do feel both retail and institutions may have actually bought. But getting right to shorts. So on Friday, shorts did increase 17,000 shares, so roughly 1.92% of their position. 24.59% of the free float is being shorted, works out to be 939,000 shares. So this is why at the same time on social media, you see a lot of people kind of talking still about Hologram, because for face value, this is exactly what the market likes to squeeze. Heavily shorted, low float. One negative side of this, though, is if you do believe that dilution is occurring, then that number essentially is incorrect, right? Because it's just a formula based on the shares or the outstanding shares. But cost to borrow average 98.2, and then short score is 81.44. So all in all, pretty interesting week, even though there wasn't any news from Hologram at itself. So a lot of the main platforms, so Global News, PR, Newswire, no news from them. And then even what Hologram has been doing recently was just primarily using Stock Titan. They didn't use any or submit any news since it looks like the 10th. So interesting kind of week, like I said, so you never know, you might see a continued push higher, or at the same time it might just be a kind of one-off type of week. So let me know your general thoughts on that. For those of you that do believe that Hologram is a squeeze because of them not having options right now, that does make them once again more of a pure squeeze play, only because shorts can't hedge with options. So essentially that's kind of a good thing. But yeah, let me know your general thoughts on Hologram in the comments below. This might be the most optimistic you will see me for Hologram, just saying that there is a slight chance that it is going to continue to move higher based on market momentum and just clearly people's appetite for speculative plays right now. So let me know your viewpoint. Do you think that it is going to continue to move higher? Do you think that this last week was just a one-off, or what's your kind of general thoughts on all that? Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. One final thing though, pop over to my Patreon. I do give buy signals on stocks, options, crypto, many of which have been absolutely on point. Definitely worthwhile to pop over there and take a look. With all that said, appreciate all of you watching.